I don't believe in my 154 years covering politics in America that I've ever seen the kind of change on a controversial issue that we are seeing in the past 24 hours even on the issue of same-sex marriage. Amy, bring us up to date on what's happened just yesterday and this morning and about 15 minutes ago.
Well, it seems you're exactly right that there was this very small list of Democrats in the Senate who had not endorsed same-sex marriage. Not surprisingly, they were all Democrats from red states. There's on Twitter and sort of the parlor game here in Washington is, who's going to be the next to go? And it wasn't surprising when we saw Senator Bill Nelson from Florida switch his position. Obviously, Florida is considered just yesterday.
And made it the 51st senator to support it, which means a majority of the U.S. Senate now supports same-sex marriage.
That's right. Now we move on to two people that we thought might take a little bit longer, Joe Donnelly from very red state of Indiana, and Heidi Heitkamp, the brand new senator, Democratic senator from North Dakota. Now, important to note, they are not up for re-election for another 5 years. They just won re-election. So their thinking, I think, is that, look, by the time we get to that next election, this is going to be such a non-issue. There's not going to be any political price to pay. What's fascinating, though, about this is for as much movement as we see the country has made on gay marriage, certainly among Democrats and independents, Republicans have not made that same movement. And I'm talking about Republican voters as well. I think it was Pew that looked at over the last 8 years when they asked the question about, do you think that gay marriage is a threat to traditional marriage? 8 years ago, Democrats were evenly divided on that issue. Now, overwhelming majority of Democrats don't believe it is. Republicans, though, 68% then believed it was a threat. 68% now believe it's a threat. So that's the real conundrum for Republicans. The rest of the country seems to be moving, but their base has not moved.
To me, the number in the polls that is most interesting isn't the partisan divide, it's the age divide.
Yep.
Voters under 30 in our most recent USA Today Pew national poll, 7 out of 10 voters under 30 support same-sex marriage. A lot of them think it's not an issue.
I think what we're seeing here with this rush is that there are a whole set of complicated issues in which we don't know how they'll turn out, where we'll end up. There are arguments on both sides that Americans are very drawn to. Taxes, abortion, all kinds of issues. I don't know how they're going to play out. But on these rights issues, we generally know where the United States ends up, right? We used to have a system in which women couldn't vote, in which African Americans couldn't vote. We used to have no Irish need apply. It would have been hard for me as a Jew to get a job in a lot of places for a long time. All those things go away. And I think that's where you see same-sex marriage going. I think there will continue to be pockets of opposition to this. But I think what people have seen when you look at the age-based polling is in the long term, we will have same-sex marriage in this country. And people want to get on the right side of that. This will eventually become seen to many people who are young today or not yet born as no different from no Irish need apply. And that's why you see politicians rushing to get on the other side of this.